Welcome to Beautiful Moments with A.K.M, where we share and discuss the essence and meaning of beauty and life topics. Join the conversation by sending through your questions and responses in the comment section below. Brought to you by Rejosha Beauty, classy and elegant.
Welcome to the first ever episode of our new baby, Beautiful Moments with A.K.M. I'm so excited that we get to launch this in the Women's Month and on Women's Day. And with me today is Mavis Billions, founder of Inspired Women, an organization that seeks to empower ladies and the girl child. And then on my left, I am joined by Ratidzo Mutero, founder of Dames in Heels, also another organization that seeks to empower and support the girl child. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you for having
us. We are also excited and happy Women's Day to you
Thank you.
all the ladies that are listening.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My name is Anesu Kingdom Mutrene. I'm the founder of Rejosha Beauty Salon, where we serve you class and elegance. And on this show, we're going to be talking about all issues to do with the girl child, with women, empowering, enhancing your beauty. And we're going to deal with these issues from the inside going out. Because I believe that how we feel and how we are in the inside has an effect on our outward look and expression. Just this being a Women's Month, I am so privileged to have two wonderful women here to support this vision, here to support this cause. I do hope that you do not forget to like and follow our pages, Rejosha Beauty, Facebook, invite your friends because we're going to be talking about issues that really are going to help you on how you express yourself and how you carry yourself, how you brand yourself. And trust me, these ladies are powerhouses when it comes to tackling these issues. Ladies, today we want to talk about the inner child. What's your understanding of the inner child?
Well, I feel like the inner child is that part of us, maybe somewhere in our subconscious mind, that has always been present ever since the day we were born. It has always been there. It has captured our memories, our dreams, our hurts, our pains, our emotions, and it also stores our future dreams, our aspirations. And I feel like it's that authentic part of ourselves, that innocent part of ourselves. Like it says, inner child, that child in us that really never grows old, that remains a child.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's that true and authentic self.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that's basically the definition, that part of us that has always been there with us. But we should also know that it's always going to be with us. So it has always been there and it will continue to be there with us. And it's just that part that is fragile, just that part that is vulnerable. And it's just that part that is so sensitive, but it defines a lot about your life. So sometimes you might not know that whatever is happening has an impact on you, because mostly the inner child, it stores in the subconscious mind. So indirectly, knowingly or unknowingly, something is happening to the inner child. It happened before, it is happening today, and it will continue to happen.
And I feel like just what the name says, inner child, is just like, a child. They say that between the ages of 0 to 6, our brains, they are so receptive because, you're still a child, you haven't figured anything out. So whatever that you're learning, you're receiving from, be it your caregivers, your parents, your teachers, your mentors, whatever. So that that child still remains a child. It's like right now, if you take a 5-year-old, you tell them, run into the water, go and do this. They don't filter, they don't process so much. If they feel like going to the jumping castle, they are gonna go. If they feel like they want to play in the water, they're just gonna go and they'll do it carefree and very innocent. So I feel like.
And if they are denied what they want, they get offended.
They throw a tantrum.
Yes, they really react when something is denied from them. And they really react when they are angry. They kind of like recall those moments like a little child. The day you denied her of ice cream, she will recall that more than the day you said, let's go to the jumping castle. So that's basically it.
Yeah.
So we could say maybe it's like an ever-present witness.
Yes.
Yeah. But then the witness that never grows. I mean, it makes a lot of sense because how else do adults create content that is enjoyable for children if they're not using something that is at that level?
Yes.
I mean, there are times where I'm watching cartoons with my kids and I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Like I'm actually enjoying, right?
And sometimes you can be singing Cocomelon.
Other ways, yeah.
We all have that child in us.
Yeah, and so I figured that, when I was going and preparing for this topic, there's some issues that we want to like address today. The inner child has got two sides of it. The one that's nursed well and that has got positive positive end results, or maybe not end results, but positive results in the long run. And then there's the inner child that's wounded. The one that has somewhat detrimental results in the long run. And so we could talk about the happy one, which is, that's great because, but then we want to sort of address the one that's been wounded. Yeah. And because I feel like some of the problems that we're experiencing in today's society, at work, at church, in marriages, really in all facets of life, they're somewhat connected to this child. Yeah. So maybe we can, let our viewers know what this inner child experiences at the level which we are also children. The child is also still in there. And as a child, the traumas that this child experiences at a level where we cannot regulate, at a level where we cannot understand, at a level where we cannot be reasonable, or at a level where we are not mature enough to understand, certain issues of life.
Well, it's so fun that, we know human beings are created by God. Then God just creates two parts, one that grows and the other one doesn't grow. For what reason? For Christ's sake. So I would want to believe that the real idea is for that inner child to benefit us. But unfortunately, it being a child, it becomes a victim. Because as a child, you can't protect yourself. As a child, you can't filter certain things unless someone filters them for you. So I want to believe that the real essence of the inner child is to benefit us. As we grow, you still need that little girl in an old woman. You still need that little boy in an old man. Because when the pressures of work come, when the pressures of being a mother come, and when the pressures of, trying to make ends meet come, I feel like the inner child is that relief part inside of you. It's more like a relief part that God has put in every person, whereby in those moments of pain, you can just feel like, I want to scream, and you go like that, and after that scream, you're fine.
Yeah.
It's that moment that wants to eat chocolate.
No, not just eating. You want to sneak and eat chocolate.
You want to wake up in the middle of the night and just take that bottle of milk and just like do, So I said before we talk about the traumas, let's just talk about the benefit part of it.
Yeah.
Because some people feel bad wanting to go out there and, climb on a jumping castle. You might want to feel bad that, I want to feel like I want to walk in the rain, barefooted. And, it's not bad. It's just a relief mechanism that is put inside our bodies so that we find those moments where we just do those crazy things, where you just want to get on the bed and just start jumping.
Yeah. I think true to what Mavis is saying, the inner child, that's what it's supposed to be like. And when you find yourself behaving in another way, like when you just want to express yourself and you find that you can't, then I think that's where that's an indicator. You see some people you talked about regulation. You see some people with deep-seated anger issues, and that those things, they are stemming from a wounded child. Someone, because like I was saying, when we're children, we are so receptive. And like when you're a child, sometimes to kind of reason or regulate things. Okay, take for example, you've got a son, right? Nathaniel. He comes and he says, Mommy, they say, like right now in the middle of this recording, he wants his time. He comes and says, Mommy, can I come in? And you say, no, Nathaniel, you can't. For him to then reason that, to say that, I can't because she's busy, she's recording, this is important. He might translate that to mean that
Mom doesn't
time with me. So whatever she's doing there is important. So you find that when then he grows into a man, if that's not regulated well, when he grows into an adult, finally he has his wife or his girlfriend, he says, honey, can you do this for me? Honey, can we hang out? Can we do this?
If she gives an excuse.
There and there, he relates that subconsciously, without knowing, he relates that to that experience. Mommy never had time for me. Mommy, because we're not taught to regulate. So those are the indicators of, like you were saying, when you see now that I'm trying to do this, but I can't, I want to speak out. Sometimes you might know the answer. A question is asked, maybe it's a competition, you know the answer, but you can't simply just raise your hand.
So safe to say that the inner child does its growth and its maturity at a point where we are still kids. Safe to say that when we are still kids, that's when they are learning emotions. The inner child is learning emotions.
More of a foundation.
Yes, it's like a foundation. But unfortunately, at that age, we are also children.
Yeah.
We are not mature enough to say, no, you need to understand, Mom is busy. Yeah. So maybe that sort of gives parents a responsibility to actually talk things through with their children.
Yes.
Like explain why you can't be there.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm just thinking right now that imagine a 40-year-old woman. She doesn't have anything. She didn't go to school. She didn't do anything with life. I'm just thinking that is there a possibility that the inner child can actually give you strength to even say, you know what, I want to go to school. Because the mature self of you would be saying, no, you are too old.
Well, I think it's possible, but then it depends on how healthy your inner child is. Yeah, because you find that when children are growing up, I'll give you an example. Their children are not just inquisitive. They ask, why? Why? I've got my little niece. She'll say, Mommy, why can we go to the country club? And then you say, no, we can't. Why can't we go? And then she says, as I may ask. And you know what? No, it's a good thing that times are evolving. Parents now, they are more exposed. They're more loving. They're more affectionate toward their kids. In past times, showing affection, we've got parents right now who can't hug their children.
Yeah.
Who can't kiss their children. Who can't tell their children that I love you.
Yes.
It's so difficult for them to say. So right now I can explain to you, Shona, no, we can't go to this, we can't go to the country club, I'm busy and stuff like that. But some would say, you're too loud, she's too forward. What you can't ask. You've been always, as a child, you've been thwarted. When you want to ask, when you want to speak up, you can't, you're too forward. I have a very close friend of mine who always says to me, Rati, do you think I'm too loud? I find that when I get into a space, I just start talking. If it's a salon, I draw attention. Yeah. Do you think I'm too loud? And I'm saying, no, you're not loud. You're expressing. That's who you are. Because you find that the moments you try to keep quiet, everyone will be saying, "Are you okay?
Yeah, are you okay? Yeah.
The reason why she's thinking that, am I too loud, is because it is a set norm, a set standard. When you're a child, you're told, you are too loud. Wakangwarisa, tone it down, So it then comes back to that inner child. Is she healthy enough to take that risk?
I love the part healthy. So, and like you were saying, that at a young age, can we say this is the foundation?
Yeah.
So I think this is the foundation where we nurture a healthy inner child,
child.
or an unhealthy inner child. Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah. You see, like most of the bitter mothers that we have, because some of these wounds, like when you have a wounded inner child, there are 4 types of wounds that they say they are. There are trust wounds, there are guilt wounds, there are abandonment wounds, and there are neglect wounds. Yeah. And these wounds, I think they come from physical neglect, emotional neglect, psychological neglect.
Yes.
Yeah. So you find that as a child, you might have suffered emotional neglect, right? And you now have maybe an abandonment wound, a neglect wound, emanating from emotional neglect. You find that in certain times, in certain spaces, in certain homes, let's say my marriage fails, right? I then get to remarry, but I've got my own child. This husband that's coming might not. I might find myself having to neglect my child a bit because I want to cater for my husband. I want to cater to my husband. But what I'm failing to realize is that I'm creating bitterness in this child. I'm creating a wound.
But can I hold you on that note? Do you realize that by neglecting your child a little bit, that's also a manifestation of a wounded inner child?
Yes, but it starts from somewhere.
Yes.
So we are saying, let's say it's starting from this point. My husband maybe doesn't tolerate my kid. So because I've got it, I'm also wounded. I've also some wounds that I have. I have that need for love. I want to feel loved. I might end up sacrificing some needs, some of my daughter's needs, or some of my, let's say, daughter, since we're in the Women's Month, my daughter's needs. And then I'm catering to my husband, but what I'm failing to realize is that I'm creating a bitter daughter. And then when that daughter, in most cases, they follow through the same cycle. They get married because they were neglected emotionally. They now try to draw love from other places. So you might find that little girl might be in an abusive relationship.
They will still stay for the sake of having someone. For the sake of filling the void, no matter not considering whether the feel is healthy or it's not.
Because someone is loving me. What the parents failed to realize is that they were creating a model for that child. Subconsciously, she was seeing a model. This is what love is like. That's how they interpret love.
Okay, so in another way, they are also seeing that, okay, when you love or when you need something, you can sacrifice anything and everything. Even your child.
Yeah.
Because that's
for love.
Yes, they are being neglected so that mommy can get love. So to them, that becomes a language that, okay, when you are fighting for something, it's okay to neglect anything and everything, no matter how important it is.
Yeah, that's very true. And we also have to understand that some of these traumas are not necessarily caused by people. We are just coming from COVID, where everyone was just closed. We can also not ignore the traumas that people went through, where the children for the past 2 years, that inner child wants association, that inner child wants, to learn new things. It wants to go out there. It wants to go for ice cream. It wants to go that. It was suffocated. So apart from people doing things to us, there are also circumstances that can cause traumas. You can be involved in an accident.
Yes.
And you see things that you never planned to see. I'm also thinking about those people that grew up during the war. Even people that are
That's
in
most
war.
of our parents.
That's most of the parents,
war-prone zones. So we can also say that some of these traumas are experiences with people, but some of these traumas are experiences with environments, some that we don't have control over, some environments that we didn't actually choose to be in. You know, there can be an economic recession in a nation. And, you know, the economy can do things to you that...
Yeah, if a family is financially frustrated, it's hard to be expressive as you'd want to. For instance, you'd want to take your children on a joyride. You'd want to take them for vacations, you know, have them exposed. You'd want them to give them a certain quality of life.
Exactly.
But then you can't because you're financially frustrated. And then these kids, in somewhat way, they might be exposed to other kids who have. And if there is failure of regulation at home, you know, to try and talk your children through these circumstances, however they interpret it can later on develop into an unhealthy inner child or a healthy inner child. At the same time, they are what we call transferred conflicts, where you have conflicts going on within you or around you, and then you don't deal with them. If you don't deal with them, you transfer them. And the most vulnerable people, individuals to on the receiving end are children, because these are the only people that you have control over and they can't retaliate. And so we transfer that conflict to those kids. If you're in an abusive marriage, you transfer the abuse to the children. If you are in an unhealthy working environment, you come back home. You can't talk back at your bosses, but you can definitely transfer to your children. And in the process, we are nurturing an unhealthy inner child. And also, there's one thing that makes this inner child very vulnerable. I like what you said in the beginning, that it's it's inside. So the fact that it's inside, people don't realize, or they're not careful to harm it or to nurture it because they can't see it. You can actually do something hazardous and harm the inner child. But because you can't see physically that I have caused this emotional wound, you can keep on, you know, with those unhealthy habits and unhealthy expressions and keep on wounding the children around you unawares.
Thank you for watching Beautiful Moments with A.K.M. For more content, visit our social media pages. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, and share to stay connected and inspired.